Hello, my name is Tackless, and today we're going to be looking at a Project Spark tutorial looking on how to make custom characters. Now, this is actually not too hard. It's a little tedious, but it's not bad. Pretty much, we're going to be looking at how to transform a normal-looking character into a character who could easily be a boss, or a crazy-looking monster, or just a playable character maybe in your world. I'm going to look at how to do it on the technical side, and then a lot of tips how to make him functional and working properly. So here's our guy. He's big and rocky and fancy and all that, and he's really strong. But if you notice, he's slow, which is good. We want him to be slow because he's made of stone. When I hit him, it makes a nice little rocky sound. And when I kill him, let's see if I can do this quickly. It's going to make a nice little kind of crumbling sound. So, there we go. That's the basics of it. And there's actually a lot more to making that function than you might think, and making it function smoothly. So, let's get into it. I'm going to take the big guy, and as much as it pains me, going to delete. Oh, no. I'm going to delete him. First thing we want to do is we want to grab a character model. Gonna rotate it, and I'm gonna blow it up because we want this to be a rock giant, I guess. So about that big. Next, let's go into the character's clothing. Actually, yeah, clothing first. Now, don't get weird on me, but we need to take all of his clothes off. Oh. Once we do that, we go to the character, and we remove his hair. No hair. Now we're going to make the entire model, eyes, teeth, mouth, lips, everything gray. So for the body, we're going to hit Y to toggle the colors. And we're going to make it kind of a mid-tone to dark gray, about right there. And we need to make every color that's related to this person dark gray. Now, we need to go back to his head. And as you can see, there's a lot of adjustments here. And I could go through all that, or I could cheat and already have a gray person done over here. So, you can pause the video, make your character gray, come back, he should look like this. This guy's eyes, everything are gray. Don't worry about his eyebrows, you can't change the color of them for whatever reason. So, next, this is where it gets very tedious, but not hard. We're going to go to the Character Studio, go to Attachments, and we're going to make this guy a rock giant. So we're going to search rock. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips on making this guy a better looking rock guy, rather than just a human with rocks attached to him. Since a relatively recent update, you can attach more than one item to one area of a person, and we're going to do that especially to the torso to make it have more of a human-esque form rather than just one rock. So we're going to start with the body. Well, actually, no, let's start with the head. And let's see. For the head, I actually don't want a rock. I want... Come on. It was working so good earlier. Let's go to stone. And I want round boulder. I want to make his head just a round boulder. So this is the environment that we're going to be doing a lot of our work in. It's going to give us the object full size, and we're going to have to scale it down a little bit. There we go. And let's make it a tiny bit smaller about there. And I'm going to move it forward on his head because a forward, menacing looking creature is more evil looking, I guess. Next, we're going to go back to rock. Rock. Gonna scroll forward to these rocks. These are what we're going to be doing all of our building with. I want to start at his torso, then we're going to do his arms, we're going to do his legs and his feet and whatnot. So, first, I'm going to give him kind of upper pectoral muscles. So I'm going to grab more of a square looking rock, go to backside, which is just his torso. We're going to rotate this, oh, not that direction. This direction, about there. Now this really does take a painful amount of time to get all right. So to give him a little more interesting definition, we're going to angle this like that. And maybe bump up the size just a little fuzz more, maybe. Like that. There we go. Oh, I kind of wanted to cover his neck too. Really, how much of this details you do is up to you. But I want my guy to look really good. So, and then we do it again. Backside, shrink down to about the same size. I regularly like to make my stone guys not symmetrical. And we're going to make this guy a little bit asymmetrical. But for the torso, we're going to keep him symmetrical. Oh, no, that's scale. Because let's say that he's a giant that's just been cut out of a mountain or something. He's not going to be perfectly symmetrical. This guy, however, his torso is going to be fairly symmetrical. So about right there. That looks good. Now we're going to kind of add the definition to his torso. And if you're working with a female, you want to give it an hourglass figure. But since I'm working with a male, we're going to give it kind of a V-shaped figure. So we're going to grab... let's grab this. Go back to backside. Shrink this bad boy down a ways. And we're going to rotate it about there. That kind of gives him a beefy look. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Shrink it down a ways. Turn it. Rotate it. And place it. Now don't worry about the actual back right now. We're going to put a few rocks on the back, but the back isn't going to be so important. Well, if this is going to be a playable character, you might want to spend a little more time on the back since that's what the player is going to be looking at. But my guy is not going to be a playable character. He's an enemy, and you're going to be looking at an enemy's front because that's how he's going to be attacking you. So if you were really in the mood, you could always give this guy a six-pack, but I'm not in the mood. So we're going to grab that rock, go to backside, rotate it to there. This one, I'm not sure I'm going to scale down at all. Okay. Right. There. There we go. That's a pretty good looking torso. There we go. Don't you think? We're going to add more to his shoulders and neck area in a bit. You know, I think I'm going to blow his head up. I'm going to go back into attachments. And when you scroll over the attachments, it highlights the attachments for you. So I can press A and then scale up the head. Just a fuzz. And then I'm going to drop it down a little bit. Now you don't want the head to be sticking out like it was there. But about right there. Maybe a tiny bit bigger like that. Really, a lot of this is up to you. So next, let's move on to the arms. I'm going to have to research rock. There we go. Now we're going to be looking at the shoulder blades first. And the shoulder blade also moves with his arm. It's not just a shoulder piece. But let's start with left shoulder. Shrink this thing down. Now the shoulders, if you want a guy to look strong, you give him big shoulders. Like, big shoulders. And since this is also going to be covering his upper arm, I'm going to give him huge shoulders. Like, outrageously large shoulders. There we go. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's see, right shoulder. Now, I'm actually going to, come to think of it, I'm actually going to shrink down the left side just a fuzz. Oh, before we go too far into the limb, something I need to cover. Every one of these pieces has an axis point. Do you see how it rotates around that one point? That axis point needs to line up with the joint of your character. If the axis point, like if I put it here and then rotated it like that, it may still look good while he's frozen, but when I exit, you can't really see it there, But long story short, whenever he does a move, it'll make the whole piece of rock look wonky. So you need to build this right the first time to get it correct. So let me rotate that back around and move it back into position. So back on topic, I'm actually going to make the right arm outrageously huge and the left arm a little bit skinnier, so it looks like he punches with his right arm, which the character does. You can't make a left-handed character yet in Project Spark. So, go back to rock. You could always just scroll to the end if you really wanted to, but this makes life simpler. Then the forearm is an interesting shape on a real human, but on Project Spark, it's just kind of a more of a triangle shape, so to speak. So let's grab that piece. And it doesn't say forearm or upper arm. It tells you the joint, and then whatever is beneath that joint is what you're affecting. So the hip affects the upper leg, the knee affects the lower leg, the shoulder affects the upper arm, the elbow affects the lower arm. So right elbow affects that joint. We're going to scale this bad boy down like that. And we'll make sure that it's nice in line with the arm and hand. And it can cover up the hand some, but we're actually going to use a big rock for this hand. So let's see, let's go back to this rock and scale that puppy down just a fuzz to make that arm a little skinnier. Be sure to always do a 360 look to make sure that like the elbow isn't sticking out or something like that. Next, I'm going to grab a skinny rock for the left forearm. Okay. Scale it down, scale it back up a little bit. These rocks, especially when you play with the colors, make really interesting looking armor. So even if you're not going to do a full-blown character like I am, you can always just add a few rocks onto a character to give him some sweet looking armor. Because, I mean, adding that to a knight gives him some awesome armor, even if you leave the hands as is. It's just a thought. It's up to you. Now, don't panic if there's a little bit of the person's body sticking out, like right there. Because I like how the rest of it looks, I'm going to leave that little bit sticking out. Some of the torso of the player underneath will show when he's attacking. Don't panic, that's why we made it gray. Now, it looks like I may have made it a little bit too dark of gray, so we can go back and tweak that so it matches the rock color tone a little more. Next, let's go to hands. For hands, I'm going to use this rock. We're going to go right hand. Going to rotate it. About, let's see. Right there. And since that's his attacking hand, I'm going to blow it up quite a bit. So, I mean, he's got a club to attack with. I know he looks way off balance right now because his legs are all skinny. But this is going to look epic when he actually goes crazy on someone. Next, let's add a hand to the other side. So let's see, left hand. Here we go. And this one is going to be much smaller because it's not his attacking side, of course. Now, the whole attacking bit, if this is just going to be a passive NPC, obviously you don't need to worry about it that much. But a lot of this is preference, but I'm giving you some good tips. Now we're going to move on to his legs. So this is the piece I like to use for his legs because it's kind of long and squarish. So we're going to do left hip. Rotate it about there. And I'm going to rotate it so the rounded side is outward, which gives it a slightly better look. I'm going to rotate it to about there. Gonna bump up the scale just a fuzz because this guy has got to have some seriously beefy legs, right? Now, once again, don't get weird on me, but this piece actually does have to cover the groin area, so I'm actually going to rotate it back so that the larger side is toward the top to cover that area. There we go. Remember, there's nothing weird here. We're just building a person. Gonna grab that same piece again. Go to right hip. Where's right hip? Probably just glance right over it. Here we go, right hip. Rotate it. Probably would have been faster if I rotated it the other way. Then scale it up just a fuzz. Put it into position. And you're starting to see how beefy this character is going to look. And yet how he looks seriously tough because of just the way that his body is shaped. He looks more like a bodybuilder than a stone giant right now. Which if you don't want that look, once again, up to you. But that's the look I'm going for right here. Let's see. Let's grab a new piece and let's go for left knee. Now, I would always advise grabbing a new type of rock for every limb, roughly. That way, it doesn't look like one rock was copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Now, the shape of the calf says that the top part should be larger than the small part. So this shape actually works just perfect for it. So about right there. Yeah, let's see. I think it was this rock I grabbed. And then left knee, or right knee, I mean. Right knee. Scale it down. They're not the same, but I'll make it work. Once again, symmetry, it's up to you. If you're an OCD person who just can't handle things not being symmetrical, maybe don't make a rock monster. But, you know, it's up to you. Gonna rotate it so it matches his calf angle. And then finally, we're gonna add feet. And you could add claw feet maybe if you wanted him to be scary, or like ball-shaped feet. But we're going to go with this shaped foot. So, left foot. And you want to make sure that the foot is angled in exactly the same direction the real foot is. So about right there. There we go. That looks like a good size and shape. Now you want to make the feet big, because I mean this thing's got to balance on a big foot. And make sure that you don't cut the heel off too short of the ankle, or else just it won't look right. If you looked at a human foot with no shoe on, the back of the leg doesn't go flat to the ground. The heel back of your foot kind of sticks out a little bit. Maybe not that much, but don't cut it off too short. I'm going to do that again on right foot. There we go. Scale it down about right there. Awesome. And I'm going to rotate it, not that way. That way, just a fuzz. I want to see, okay. There we go. So, we're almost done. Last but not least, we need to add the back to this guy. And the back can be pretty simple. It's just something that needs to cover the backside and kind of fill him out, because he looks a little hollow on the backside. So we can use this piece. Going to rotate around that way. Then tip it so it's flat. And you know what? That piece isn't going to work out. Oh. Okay, that one. I don't like the shape of that rock. Let's grab this piece. This looks like this should be a better fit. Hopefully so. Going to scale it down a bit, but not a ton. He needs to have a pretty big back. Now, you could always use multiple pieces on the back, which is what I've done in the past, but I'm going to go with one big piece, bigger piece here. Now I'm going to have to go with two pieces, it looks like. So that, and then we're going to go with one more piece to fill in the bottom side. Alright, man, none of these are catching my eye right away. Here we go, let's go with this one. Bring it down. Rotate it to about there. Turn it around. Oh, I might add on the body, since it's not a limb. I don't like this piece, come to think of it. You really don't need to worry about the joint location on the body. That's more of a thing that you worry about on the limbs. Oh, goodness. We'll just run with another piece of the same piece. Just farther down, a little bit smaller. If you wanted him to look kind of like a humpback or like a really big giant, you could always just make one of these pieces in the back massive and tack it on. There we go. So there's our guy. I mean, look at this. Look at this sexy beast. He's a big, tough dude. Now, let's run him through the motions. If you look, when I highlight his torso stomach area, you'll see all these glowing chains. When you see lots of glowing chains, that shows that you are currently highlighted on the character himself and not his attachments. If I only see one chain, that means that I've highlighted on only that one attachment, and if I messed with it, it wouldn't affect the character as a whole. So we need to look for all the chains like this. I'm going to open up his brain, and currently he has an enemy brain, but let's get rid of that brain for now. We can insert it later, no problem. So delete the page, and to make sure that he's running through his motions correctly, we can go to Appearance, Emote, and we're going to choose an emotion that makes him move around quite a bit. So as dorky as this is going to look, we're going to get to see how much he moves around. Look at that. Now you can see the torso, there's a little bit of clipping that goes on. But really, I mean, all the joints work fine. There's only a little bit of clipping. You can see his head is bobbing correctly because it's attached to the head. I mean, he looks good. He looks really good. Now, dancing isn't just going to work. I mean, it could. I mean, we could stop the tutorial right there because you've got a dancing rock machine. But let's not stop there. Let's go into the brain gallery. Let's bump over to enemy brain. Pop this bad boy in. Now this means that he's going to try to come and kill us, which is terrifying because he's a rock monster. But let's adjust some of his properties first to make him more rock monster-y like. We're going to go to movement, and we're going to scale his movement down to 3. This way it looks like he's kind of coming at us at a slow, grudging pace. We're going to go to combat, and let's leave these alone, but we're going to go to hit reactions, and we're going to turn them all off. This means when he's hit by an attack, he doesn't flinch and stop what he's doing. Because, come on, if you hit a rock monster, he's not going to flinch. He's just going to keep attacking. And it's a good idea to bump up his health because he's made of solid stone. But for the sake of killing him and for the tutorial, I'm going to leave it at 100. I would recommend bumping this up to 200, 300, 400, 500. If he was a boss, maybe even 1,000, if that's what you need to do. Alrighty, let's see. Next, we're going to go into some physics. Now, don't freak out, but if he was to attack me right now, we would get some really wonky movements. Let's see if I can just test it out and show you. Because he has all these items attached to him, it's not showing up right now. It's kind of hit and miss. But because he has all these objects and they have all their own hitboxes attached to them, when he hits you, he could just launch you into the air crazy high. So to make him more stable, we need to select some pieces and make them non-collidable. Now this will still mean he's able to attack, but this does not mean that those pieces will have an effect on us. So let's go to his hands, press A, go into his properties, physics, collidable off. Now we need to do this for both hands, actually both of his total arms. Come on. This can be a little bit tricky to grab the piece. There we go. Properties, physics, collidable off. This way he can do his attack at us. Not appearance, physics off. And it won't cause anything strange. Now, if your character has one large piece on him, like a huge skull on his back, or maybe if you went with the big rock on his back option, looks like I already got his hand, then you want to make that non-collidable too. Like his head, I'm going to make that non-collidable just because it's so big. Properties, physics, off. This isn't exciting, it's not wonderful, but this is what you need to do. I think that's all I need to do, plus his big fat head. Alright, so right now, he's functional, he's awesome, he looks amazing, and he's not buggy. But there's one last little tweak I want to add to him so that this will give a surprising difference to how rock monster he is. So we're going to open up a new line of code. And let's see when. We're going to go into combat, combat events, hit by attack. Then we're going to do play sound. And we're going to search stone. Stone. And the sound effect that I'm going to be using is from the Blacksmith DLC. So if you don't have this, I'm sorry. But if you do have it, it makes an awesome sound. If not, try to find like one of these sounds to try to get a good stone kunk sound like that. So when you get your sound effect, you want to make sure it's overlapping. And then lastly, when is dead, we're going to play, wait, no. We're going to make a child line of code, which you can do by making a new line of code, selecting the 4, and then hitting left on the joystick. And now this line of code will only run when this line of code is active. I'm going to do started to, so it only runs once, not over and over and over while he's dying. Play sound. And let's go with that one. Once again, we're going to make it overlapping. I don't know why the sound effects just don't come default overlapping. It's kind of pointless. But open him up and watch how much better this works. Let me switch to a sword. Now, if you watch, he won't be launching me anywhere. He'll be attacking me like a normal guy. And when I hit him, I mean, it sounds like I'm trying to go mining. And you see out there, I kind of got launched a little bit. That's unusual. If that happens more than it should, you might want to make his legs and then his torso non-collidable. But when I finish this guy off, come on. He's down and he's gone. So that's how you make a custom character with a few little embellishes. If you decide to make your own custom character. Like I made a character in one of my worlds and he was just covered in skulls. That's all it was, skull and bones. You might want to pick different sound effects, like maybe kind of a crunching or crackling sound. Or who knows? I mean, your creativity is endless. Pick whatever sound effect goes with your character and run with it. So, I hope this tutorial was helpful. Man, 27 minutes right now. This has turned into an awfully long tutorial. If you've braved the whole tutorial, thank you very much. Please leave a like or comment if this has helped you. Thanks for watching, and I will see